Imagine stepping into an elevator and meeting your new neighbor. You smile, trying to make small talk. He tells you he just bought an apartment upstairs. You nod politely until he says the price, 1.2 million yuan. That must be the down payment, you think. But then he adds, no, that was the full price. Paid in cash. Even the parking spot was included. Your stomach drops. Because years earlier you paid 1.2 million yuan just for the down payment on the exact same type of home. Your savings are gone, your investment worthless, and your pride shattered in one short elevator ride. That story, shared online, went viral. People laughed at the awkward moment. They teased the older man for looking so defeated. But behind the jokes lies something darker, a reality millions in China are facing right now. Housing prices are collapsing, life savings are vanishing, and what used to be the dream of the middle class has turned into a nightmare. For decades, Chinese families believed real estate was the safest investment. Parents poured every yuan into buying apartments, convinced prices would only rise. Local governments encouraged it, developers promised endless growth, and banks flooded the market with loans. Homeownership wasn't just about shelter. It was about status, security, and a future for your children. But now that dream is breaking apart, brick by brick. Across China, property values are plunging. Once hyped luxury complexes are selling for half, even a quarter, of their original prices. In Zhongshan, a development that sold in 2023 for 18,000 yuan per square meter is now selling for just over 7,000. In Shenzhen, a city once considered untouchable, some apartments have lost 73% of their value. One famous project dropped from 128,000 yuan per ping to only 38,000. Imagine buying your home at the peak only to watch 3/4 of your wealth vanish. 90% of the owners in that community have lost everything. The anger is boiling over. Homeowners who once bragged about their properties are now smashing sales offices in fury. Videos show furious crowds storming developer buildings, hurling bricks and breaking glass. Security guards can't hold them back. Protesters scream at sales agents, demanding refunds, demanding fairness, demanding answers. To them, it feels like betrayal. They worked their whole lives to buy a home, only to see developers slash prices for new buyers, leaving early owners holding worthless paper. The stories are heartbreaking. In Nanchang, Ms. Wang bought a 3-bedroom apartment in 2022 for 1.19 million yuan. Today, it's worth just 400,000. She still owes 700,000 on the mortgage. Even if she sells, she'll be left with a debt of 300,000 yuan, over $40,000. She said her family feels trapped, unable to move forward, unable to recover. She is not alone. Families across the nation are drowning in mortgages for homes that are no longer worth half the price they paid. Commercial properties are collapsing too, leaving older generations ruined. In Hefei, 2 retired university professors invested their life savings, nearly 10 million yuan, into a commercial shop they hoped would provide steady rent and a legacy for their children. Just 3 years later, it's worth as little as 2 million, with no buyers and no tenants. Their dream of a secure retirement has turned into financial despair. For their children, the gift of property has become a burden of debt and shame. Developers defend themselves, saying housing is just another commodity. Prices rise and fall with the market. They ask homeowners a cruel question. If prices went up, would you have paid us the difference? But for ordinary families, this logic feels like mockery. Unlike stocks, homes are tied to their futures, their children's futures, and their identities. Losing money on property feels like losing the ground beneath their feet. The scale of the collapse is staggering. By late 2025, housing prices had fallen for 41 straight months. First-tier cities like Beijing and Shanghai dropped back to 2016 levels. Guangzhou fell to 2017 prices. Even Hong Kong, once untouchable, sank to 2015 levels. Across more than 100 cities, second-hand homes are worth 5% to 10% less than last year, with some regions collapsing by more than 17%. The causes run deep. For years, China's real estate boom was built not on natural demand, but on policy. After the 2008 financial crisis, the government used land sales and easy credit to fuel growth. Local officials relied on developers to fill their budgets. Developers borrowed heavily, built recklessly, and promised endless gains. But by 2020, the model broke. Population growth reversed. Birth rates collapsed. Young people lost interest in owning homes. Jobs grew unstable. Salaries flatlined and debt piled up. With fewer buyers and too much supply, the bubble finally burst. Now the damage is spreading through the financial system. Banks are reporting record-high bad loans. Developers are defaulting on bonds. More than 1 million buyers are stuck with unfinished homes. Wealth management products tied to property have defaulted, sparking protests and investor panic. Even local governments, once flush with land sale revenues, are running out of money. i.e., the collapse of housing isn't just breaking families, it's shaking the entire economy. The shift is cultural too. For decades, the phrase, "houses will never go down," was almost a national belief. Parents pressured children to buy as soon as possible, no matter the cost. But the younger generation is rejecting that idea. Surveys show fewer than 40% of young Chinese still see homeownership as essential. Many are adopting the lying flat lifestyle, choosing freedom and minimalism over crushing debt. They prefer stocks, gold, or simply renting, instead of gambling on real estate. For the first time in modern China, buying a home is no longer the ultimate dream. But while some adjust, millions remain stuck. Families who bought at peak prices face a nightmare: massive mortgages, homes worth half as much, and no way out. They are angry, desperate, and humiliated. That's why protests are erupting. That's why sales offices are being smashed. For these families, their anger isn't just about money, it's about betrayal. The government told them property was safe. Developers told them values would rise forever. Now they feel tricked, and they're taking their rage to the streets. Even the wealthy are not immune. Once billionaire families are selling luxury homes at huge losses. One high-profile case in Shanghai saw a mansion sold at a 20 million yuan loss. If even the rich cannot escape the crash, what hope is left for the middle class? The global echo is chilling. Economists compare China's collapse to the 2008 subprime crisis in the United States, but with a twist. It's bigger, deeper, and more politically dangerous. Because in China, property isn't just part of the economy. It's the backbone of local government budgets, the foundation of middle-class wealth, and the symbol of stability. As that foundation cracks, trust in the system itself weakens. Back in that elevator, the man who once thought he was climbing the ladder of success now feels humiliated. He mutters under his breath, but he knows the truth. His savings are gone, his pride shattered. And outside that elevator, millions of others are facing the same brutal realization. China's housing market collapse isn't just a financial story, it's a human story. It's about families who thought they were secure, now watching their futures slip away. It's about violent protests, broken dreams, and a society questioning the very promise it was built on. Sales offices are being wrecked, but what's truly being destroyed is faith in property, in stability, and in the future. The crash is far from over. Prices continue to fall. Protests continue to spread, and as the rubble piles up in smashed sales offices across the country, one truth becomes clear. The dream of getting rich through property is gone. In its place stands a harsh reality that in today's China, even a home, once the safest bet of all, is no longer safe at all.